Hello, and welcome back to Misty Island and Krudius' story. So, last episode, when we left them, Krudius and Roger appeared here at the Crestgloom house to find little Audrey sick from food poisoning and maybe something more. So, Krudius cured her. She had a little meltdown and they slept through the night, and now they've also had breakfast. And they've only just realized that the missing Warthorn boys, Melvin and Marvin, are actually here. They're the teddy bears that's been guarding the different rooms and the entrance. So Krudius knows that he's gonna have to cast Pyromagus on them in order to get them back to their true form and break the curse. So that's what he's gonna have to do. He was maybe hoping that he would be able to bring his fun up a little bit, but no such luck so far, so maybe he can rest a little bit later. And of course, Roger is gonna wanna, clean up a little bit here from breakfast, probably put away the leftovers, and yeah, there's a bathroom here, so he can actually use the toilet and have a bath. Little Audrey probably also wants to, do her normal stuff here. So I think she's also gonna want to freshen up a bit, maybe make her bed. And Krudius is gonna be left to do the hard work here. So there's one teddy bear in here and there's one out here. So I think that he's gonna go and collect this teddy bear to have them in the same room. And knowing that he's going to have to do quite a lot of spell work, he's not going to waste his energy by teleporting here, so he's going to walk around the house. There we go, through the shrubs. So very, very carefully he is tiptoeing through all of this stuff here and picking up the teddy bear. And he's going to walk back into the house, into the library where the other teddy bear is. There we go. So I'm gonna bring out the other teddy bear. It's raised, so back to the floor. And yeah, Krudius is gonna cast the spell on both of them. And I'm gonna use Clinius Corpus again. And here are the boys, back to normal again. So of course, I don't think that Krudius was really expecting a little toddler. I think that he was somewhat aware that he was a very young child. He did see the crib in the Warthorn house after all, but I don't think he made the connection really that he would now have to look after a little toddler boy. Definitely not something that Krudius is used to. So he's gonna just sort of keep a side eye on little Marvin here and talk to Melvin instead, that he's a bit more comfortable with. Krudius is starting by asking, what happened to you? How did you become teddy bears? And this little boy doesn't understand what he's talking about. He's just fearfully asking for his parents. And Krudius is trying to get the truth out of him, but Melvin says that he doesn't remember anything. He just remembers going to sleep. And now waking up here, of course. So he wants his mother and father, and he's pretty scared of this strange stranger that has appeared out of nowhere that admittedly looks pretty dangerous as well. So he is appearing to be pretty scared, and Krudius is not sure how to make him calm about it. So he's just gonna settle down here to read through the Diaries of Anora again, see if he missed something, try to get his fun up a little bit, and leave the children to their own devices. And of course, Audrey is gonna hurry downstairs to reunite with her friends that are actually children now. And Roger is gonna go over here. And I guess he's gonna settle down to play peekaboo with little Marvin here, try to look after the toddler, while Audrey and Melvin, they can play together for a bit, catch up and make up for lost time. So they're gonna sit down here to play Mary Mac, while Roger looks after little Marvin, and Krudius is catching up on his reading. So Krudius has caught up a bit on his reading here. He's feeling much better, and the kids have been playing for a bit, and Roger sort of exclaims that we can't keep the children here, we need to bring them to safety, so what do you say that we bring them back to the Whitdane household? They can look after them. And well, Krudius is all for that, of course. He doesn't want to have a bunch of children around as he's trying to resolve this mystery. So he actually tells Roger that that's a good idea. Why don't you bring the children over to the Whitdanes, and I can keep looking for the other missing adults and see if I can find their parents. So Roger is going to pick this little guy up. I guess he can't do it. Maybe if they're a bit more friendly. No? I think maybe he needs to treat him as family temporarily. There we go. So he's gonna pick Marvin up. And both, Roger, Marvin, and Melvin are gonna head out to the front of the house here so that they can leave. Audrey, on the other hand, is definitely not happy to leave, and she's going to tell Krudius what's what. She's going to exclaim that you can't make me go somewhere where I don't want to be. I'm gonna go with you. And Krudius is, of course, taken aback. Like, what is this little girl talking about? Of course she can't come with him. So he tells her to just do as you're told. Go with the others and they will look after you. And, little Audrey says that you can't make me. I will run away if you try to make me. And Krudius is kind of calling her bluff, like, where will you go? This was your hiding spot. You think you can run away just like that? And, she's taking that as a challenge. So she's like, watch me, and she runs away. And apparently Krudius really needs the bathroom, but yeah. And Krudius is sort of, sighing, rolling his eyes, and he's actually just gonna summon her back. He can't do it right now, but there's a spell to summon Sims. So basically what's happening is that she's running away, and she's gonna try to hide out here in the shrubbery. Krudius is sort of rolling his eyes, casting the summoning spell, and bringing her right back where she started. So he's gonna tell her in no short terms that you can try to run away all you want, but I'm just gonna be able to summon you back now. I know you now. There's no way for you to try to run away from me. And Audrey tells him that, sure, you're here now, but if you're gonna leave me with the Whitdanes, then I'm not gonna stay with them. I'm just gonna run away from them, and then you'll never find me. So Krudius kind of realizes that he's got a big problem here on his hands, that this little girl is gonna make things very difficult for him. So he sort of resigns himself to, sure, I guess you're gonna have to come with me then. Little menace. Can you at least try to be useful in that case? And Audrey is very proudly exclaiming that she's very useful. She knows everyone on the island. She will be able to tell him everything he needs to know. So Krudius sort of resigns himself that, okay, sure, this is gonna be a thing. He's gonna have to look after her after all. And he needs to use the bathroom, so I'm just gonna send him in here quickly. And Audrey is gonna follow him, of course. She's not gonna let Krudius out of her sights for one moment. She's gonna want to stick very, very close to him. So Krudius is done, and he's gonna be heading outside to join Roger out here with the kids. And of course, Audrey is gonna follow in his footsteps like a little dog. Everywhere he goes, she's gonna follow from this point. So Krudius explains the situation to Roger, says that Audrey is coming with me. You can take the boys back to the Whitdanes, and I will rejoin you once we have figured out where the other adults are. At first, Roger looks a bit doubtful, but then he says that, you know what, I think it's probably a good idea, because if she's gonna try to run away, the wolves might find her, and if they don't, her grandmother probably will. So Roger has learned that he can definitely trust Krudius to make the right choices, and he's gonna leave the little girl with him. So they're gonna part ways here, and Krudius is gonna bring little Audrey to the collection houses to see if they can figure out where the adults are. So Krudius and Audrey have arrived at the collection of houses, and they're gonna walk up to the painter's house because Krudius remembers seeing something strange over there, so he wants to start in that house. And as they walk up to the house, Krudius sees a very, very strange sight here, a pack of wolves. And knowing that these creatures are, of course, very, very dangerous, especially when hunting as a pack, he immediately stops and he walks back to Audrey and tells her to wait. There's a pack of wolves over there. I'm gonna go and take care of them. But if any of them runs over here, go into one of the houses and don't come out. So Audrey is going to stay back there while Krudius goes closer to see what he can do about the wolf pack. So of course Krudius is trying to not go too close to the wolves, but he needs to be a bit close in order to cast the spell. And of course he wants to cast the spell Expellosimae. It's not available on community lots, and I'm also don't think that you can use spells on pets as far as I know either. So I'm just gonna do the same trick again, that he's gonna cast spell Clinius Corpus. And I'm making all of the wolves unselectable so that they are teleported off the lot with this visitor controller. There we go. So Krudius has taken care of the threat, and he's gonna be able to walk back to Audrey and tell her that the coast is clear. So he's also gonna go ahead and ask her, you know, is this normal? Have there always been this many wolves here on this island? And she tells, no, definitely not. This is not what it used to be like. Marvin and Melvin's parents are hunters, you know. They always took care of things like this. I don't know why there are so many wolves now. But of course, Krudius understands that if left unwatched and unkept, the wolves will breed, of course, and become more. And since it's been 3 years since all of this happened, they've had plenty of times to increase their pack size. So he also thinks to himself that that explains why he's not really seen any critters around the island. No squirrels, no skunks or badgers, any kind of those creatures. The only critters he's seen really are the seagulls at the edge of the islands, nothing more. So he figures that the wolves have been eating everything that they can get their paws on and cleared out the island basically. So they're probably pretty hungry and pretty desperate at this point. So he tells Audrey to, you know, we have to remain careful. Let's keep walking into the house. And they make their way to the painter's house. So they're coming up to this pretty oddly placed statue, and Krudius remembers reacting to it the last time he was here, and he says to Audrey that I think that this is the painter. And Audrey says, I think you're right. That statue definitely looks like Bob Mirthtree to me. And Krudius now has a name for the painter, Bob Mirthtree. So Krudius is gonna ask Audrey, you know, why would Bob be a statue? Was he afraid of his own creations or something? And Audrey laughs and says that her father said that Bob was the worst scaredy cat that he'd ever met. He was afraid of everything. it wouldn't surprise her if he was afraid of his own creations. And this sort of throws Krudius for a loop. Like, what does that mean? I mean, it can't be that. It has to be something more tangible than that. So he starts thinking about what the statue actually would mean for someone to be turned into one, and he thinks about, being frozen, being incapable of moving, and not being able to do anything about the situation he's in. And Krudius thinks to himself that if it's true that Bob was a scaredy cat, that he was afraid of his own shadow, and that he was constantly wanting to escape situations, then surely being incapable of running would be a fear, being locked into place and being forced to endure. So he thinks that he might be able to imagine this fear of Bob's, and he will make an attempt to lift the curse on the statue. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing again. Krudius Corpus. And the statue is transformed, and Bob Mirthtree emerges. A real man. So, Krudius is gonna walk up to him and greet him. So Bob, once he has gotten his bearings, is instantly suspicious of Krudius. He remembers being turned into stone, and here is a magic user. It could be this one who has cursed him, so he's going to insult him. What did you do to me? And Krudius is of course offended. What are you talking about? I just rescued you. And Audrey is going to walk up to Bob as well. And she's going to inform him that you're just making a fool of yourself. This is the man that just helped you. You should be grateful. So Bob is sort of realizing that he's made a mistake, and he apologizes. He just claims that he was confused from what happened, and he's of course grateful that he received help with his affliction. He is looking very pale though, when he's kind of swooning, looking dizzy. So he is telling them that he feels like he's been standing for days. He really wants to sit down. So Bob is going to go ahead and move into the living room. So they all settle down here in the living room, and of course Audrey is going to sit down next to Krudius. And they're talking about everything that's happened so far. Krudius is sharing his story with Bob, telling him everything that's happened to him so far and the way that he has been resolving this mystery so far. And he asks Bob what he remembers from that night when the transformation took place. And Bob tells him that he woke up from the thunderstorm and that he couldn't go back to sleep, so he went downstairs to have some strong coffee and maybe work on some of his art projects. And it was while he was moving from the kitchen towards the cellar that all of a sudden he started to freeze up and was slowly turning into stone. And the only thing he remembers is seeing 3 dark shapes running outside of his window, standing where he was positioned here. He could see through this window 3 dark shapes, and he says that one of them was smaller and the other 2 were larger, but that is all he remembers. After that, everything just went black. And of course, that's not something that Krudius can make sense of at the moment, but it makes him wonder what those shapes were and how they're connected to all of this. So the 3 of them agree that they should not linger here. They should rejoin the others at the Whitdane's house so that they can all catch up and perhaps recuperate a little bit. This is where we will leave them for now.